tradition runs so deep, man. So much history, pageantry.
1 week closer to kickoff.
That's the way we answer.
It starts with culture.
It's a mentality, it's a way of life, it's a DNA.
College football free agency. Transfer portal.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins.
Say that. Say that again. Coaches only. Players only. Everybody. It's time.
College football is different. They're
of the 12-team playoff.
Boy, fire to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
Brought to you by Robbins Properties. If you're looking for a house, townhome, or apartment to rent or own in the central Iowa area, they are the people that will take care of you. That is Robbins Properties. I am your co-host, Mike.
I'm your other co-host, Jake.
Just feels good to be back, boys. 2025 college football season started with a bang. You had Iowa State beating Kansas State. Final score was 24-21. In Ireland, Cyclones come out on top. What can we take away from this from both sides? We will unpack that all in this episode. Before we get started with the week one preview, if you're a college football fanatic, a fan, love to listen to news, maybe looking for some background noise at work, make sure you subscribe. That we can stay up to date on all the college football news. Week 0, Farmageddon, Iowa State 24, Kansas State 21. What are your thoughts?
I'll jump in, repping the gear. First and foremost, your 2025 Aer Lingus champions are the Iowa State Cyclones, most prestigious trophy in all of college football, as we all know. No, unpacking the game, I think the general consensus, I think for both teams really was that it was a sloppy game. To me, like, I don't look too much into it. It's week 0. It's across the pond. You're playing in a downpour the entire time. So, never apologize for wins. Iowa State comes out on top 24-21.
The big story in that game was Edwards getting hurt off the kickoff, right? So he didn't even get to play it down on the offensive side.
Yeah, so Iowa State started off the game with the ball. They did get one first down, but then ended up punting, and Dylan Edwards muffed it. And don't know if it's the case or not, but it sounds like, they shot off a ton of fireworks before the game, and there's still smoke in the air. So couldn't see the ball, muffs the punt, gets rocked on the play. And it was really weird because he actually got up and went to the sideline fine. And the next thing you know, he's in the locker room. And, at halftime, Kleeman actually said in the on-field interview, yeah, Dylan Edwards is done for the game. So I don't know what his status is, but definitely a weird injury. I would say to Kansas State's defense, that's a player that probably going into the game was anticipated to get 15, 20 touches that you lose right off the bat.
I think watching this game, it showed a big picture of what the Big 12 is going to look like this year. Just a constant battle every week, sloppy, anyone's game, back and forth. It's your typical Big 12 madness is what a lot of people would agree with, I'd assume. You talked about it in the Big 12 episode, how it's just going to be anybody's conference to win. So, and I think that showed that.
It showed a lot of Iowa State's depth, too, considering their running back duo, and then they actually substituted and had 7 linebackers in rotation all game long. So, if you are able to keep you guys that fresh and healthy throughout the season, that's all it comes down to championship-wise is who's going to be able to stay the healthiest. And if Iowa State has that depth, watch out, boys.
I think so. I have a ton of game notes that I'll try and skim through pretty quick. Clayton, you just spoke on it, but one of the big issues with Iowa State last year was their run defense, and their linebacking group was just absolutely injured the entire year. So having everybody fully healthy again, especially Caleb Bacon, team captain, it was huge to have him back. I thought Rocco played fine. I don't think he played great. I don't think he played terrible. I do think that I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Eskilsson and Oversby the two wide receivers that caught each of the touchdowns, I think they're going to be really good replacements for Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. I know that was kind of the big concern coming into the year, losing 2,000-yard receivers. Campbell's always going to run his 3 tight end sets on offense, so I love seeing that. But really, to me, like one of the big things in this game was that seemed different from previous Iowa State teams was staying aggressive the entire game, like that final drive. So 2 absolutely huge play calls. The 3rd and 1 where everybody's on the line of scrimmage, quick RPO pop pass to the tight end over the top, keeps the drive going. And then the 4th and 3, I feel like that, previous Iowa State team would just be all right with, hey, we're going to kick the field goal and go up 6. When the reality is you get that first down, you can put the game away, and that's what they did. So credit to Taylor Mauser for the play calls, and credit to Campbell for letting the boys go for it. I feel like 4th down conversions was kind of the difference maker in the game. Iowa State was 3 for 3, and Kansas State was 1 for 4.
Huge. And then the bell cow between Abu Sama and Carson Hansen is going to be a problem this year. The announcers were even picking up on it, how you could just tell Hansen in the second half, fresh legs as a running back, was a total difference for Iowa State to come out on top there.
The offensive line was opening holes too in that 4th quarter. Like those final 2 drives were insane.
I wanted to see them incorporate Chase Sowell more because, I mean, I don't know how many targets he had, but I saw him drop a pass and then basically never get thrown to again. And he was the kind of the talk of the town for the receiver room. Big time transfer from East Carolina. I don't know. I just feel like that, like, obviously we don't know what practices were like. Maybe that's not their best receiver, but talent wise, I think it for sure is. And they really didn't incorporate him into the game like I had kind of thought to plan to see, but I don't know.
And
he could still go off for 1,200 yards. So
it's not time to panic on Avery Johnson. I know a lot of people on social media was saying how he played bad, and like, the dude threw for 273 yards, 3 touchdowns with a 70% completion percentage, and he had he had 9 incompletions, and 5 of those incompletions were drop passes by his receivers. Like, the dude balled out.
I will say, while we're talking about Avery Johnson, I do think his box score maybe looks a little better than he played. I do think the 2 long passes from blown coverages maybe inflated that a little bit. But overall, I agree, Mike. Like, I don't think he was a problem in the game by any means. Like, maybe Twitter would overreact and tell you that he was. But yeah, on the topic of Avery Johnson, everybody see the post-game scuffle between Avery Johnson's father and his older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good look. Iowa State officially broke the Johnson family.
Kansas, new stadium opener. They defeat Fresno State 31-7. Before I go, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Just another boring opening game.
Yeah.
Jalen Daniels looked good.
Q, I know that you said that you need to beat a team by 20 points, a group of 5 team by 20 points if you want a chance to win a conference title. Do you still remain by that?
Yeah, I mean, what'd you guys win by? 24? And I said 28. I said 4 touchdowns. So
you said 20 points.
What you guys didn't do? Did I say 20?
Yeah, you didn't say that.
I said 20.
Also, for what it's worth, a few years ago, Georgia beat Kent State by 4 points and won the national championship.
Okay, if we compare Georgia to Kansas, that's insane.
You said conference championships, and Georgia did win a conference championship that year.
Yeah, but I think they were still better off than Kansas is.
Just receipts.
Daniels looked impressive.
Okay, yeah.
He had more touchdowns than incompletions. He went 18 for 20, 176 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. You said it last week, too, that Kansas' season relies on his health. And I think that was shown.
Yeah, how long do you think he's going to last this year?
Season, but there was a couple times where he got hit, and he got up, and he looked like a little shaken up, which kind of worries me.
Yeah, because he's 26 years old.
Quentin, that's your prime, brother.
It isn't if you're in the NFL, not when you're facing all these fresh 18-year-olds. You know, come
Hawaii
on.
defeats Stanford on the legs of a Japanese kicker who learned how to kick on YouTube. Pretty impressive there.
That was a fun little game. That's one of those week 0 games where you're just itching for college football watching.
Boy, did their
two teams
quarterback
you're not
take a
gonna watch
beating,
the rest of
dude.
the season.
Just limping around everywhere.
He did.
Q, thoughts?
He did.
I mean, not much. I didn't really watch the game. I think both teams will finish bottom of their conference, but I did see that this was Hawaii's first Power 4 win in I don't know how many years. I think it was closer to like 15 or 20. It was a long time.
That was probably like the late 2000s when they were actually.
Yeah, with who was that quarterback? Cole Brennan.
Cole Brennan. Yep.
And then UNLV survives the Idaho State scare, keeping their perfect season alive. Q, you were big on UNLV. You had them making the playoffs. What's going on, dude?
Nah, they're dead. They're dead in the water. Dan Mullen proved to once again be a terrible coach. I don't know. I figured things would change. You know, you go from the SEC to a group of 5. I figured you'd, at least, I don't know, win 10 games. I don't know if they'll win 5. That was just an embarrassment. I can't believe I hyped them up. Yeah, they're dead to me.
Would you like to switch that group of 5 pick to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors?
I think I'd have a better. I think they'd have a better shot, but I might as well just jump on the Boise train. I might as well switch to them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, fellas, moving into the week 1 preview. Before we start, just want to bring up one quick thing, real quick. Little news in the college football world. The SEC, I believe Greg Sankey this week announced that they're moving to a 9-game conference schedule moving forward starting next year.
As it should be.
As we all know, the Big 12 bullied them into it. Big 12, superior college football conference. They feel lesser than. So credit to the Big 12, specifically teams like Iowa State, Colorado, etc. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. To me, it's just more good games every year. Why wouldn't you want more good games? I'd rather watch that than Ole Miss destroy, Georgia State or whatever they've scheduled for a cupcake team. One less of those per year.
It's always when everyone's in the middle of their conference games, and then like Alabama will play Alabama State like week 10 or something like that. It's not even in the beginning of the season. Typically, it's in the middle or end that they end up playing an absolute crap team.
Now the question is, do you think they'll still keep the week 13 cupcake though?
Yeah.
I think they do. So they'll schedule that game for like week 3 or week 2?
No, I think they're going to keep it. So you're still going to have that game before rivalry week, which is what most of them do. So like Alabama plays whoever week 13 and then they play Auburn week 14.
Yeah.
So I think they're still going to keep that just on the front end. It's going to take one of those away. But anywho, week 1 is here. It's a huge slate. Great games everywhere. Probably too many for us to be able to talk about in this episode. So I condensed everything to the best ones that I could, and we're going to start and go in order of how they come. So we're going to start out Friday night. The Auburn Tigers, Hugh Freeze, new QB1 Jackson Arnold, travel to Waco, Texas, Friday night to take on the Baylor Bears. Baylor's a team who finished 2024 6-1 in their final 7 games. After a 2-4 start, they're also a team that I think a lot of people are kind of using as a sleeper in the Big 12 to maybe sneak in the conference championship. I know a lot of people are high on Sawyer Robertson, who's their QB1. And I think on the flip side, it's the same thing. I think a lot of people are kind of feeling like this is Auburn's year. Like I said, they got Jackson Arnold in the transfer portal. They got Eric Singleton Jr. What do we think, fellas? Auburn, Baylor.
Yeah. I mean, Hugh Freeze has to get it figured out, and he has to get it figured out quick. And then especially with bringing in
he's-
Eric Singleton Jr., coming off almost 800 yards receiving at Georgia Tech last year as a sophomore, going into his junior year. I mean, that's your guy. Figure out how to get him involved. And then Jackson Arnold, like what we saw at Oklahoma was not compared to the hype that was built around him coming in as a 5-star recruit. And you almost wonder, like, yeah, you have a fresh start at Auburn, but like, how much did last season affect his confidence? Like, is he going to come in here and worry about like making mistakes, and then, like when you try to be perfect, mistakes are going to happen, or is he just going to come in here confident, throw the ball, do your thing, like we all thought he would? So I mean, that's the big picture for me. And then for Baylor, like, you got to capitalize on first and second downs. Their third down ratio last year was like 38%. So if you can avoid third downs and just get first and second downs, like, I think they'll be fine. They'll come out with a W.
Yep.
I like Auburn in this one by quite a few points. I feel like I'm gonna say double digits. I don't know. I feel like for Hugh Freeze to turn his program around, he has to start week 1. He's already on the hot seat. And if he wants to make the playoffs, you can't start 0-1 at a non-con loss. So I don't know. I like Auburn a lot, but it'll all depend on Jackson Arnold. I know he has his struggles throwing the ball, but I don't know. They have an RPO heavy offense, so I feel like if they can kind of start with that and then the short game and then the long game, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Mike, I think you hit on it. I think the biggest question is, what Jackson Arnold are we getting? I think to his defense, like I said it last year, I think they gave up on Jackson Arnold way too early. Oklahoma, that is. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think it was a team that was just decimated with injuries across the board, specifically at wide receiver. So I like him going somewhere new, getting a fresh start. Spread for this game right now is Auburn -2.5. Over under is 57.5. What are we thinking? I like Baylor +2.5. I really do.
Yeah, I'm taking Auburn. I'm taking Auburn alt spread 9.5.
Clayton?
I'm going Baylor with the more experienced. They've played together. I know Sawyer didn't play too much last year, but he was there. And then who transferred there? The Duke's old quarterback, I believe. And then he had to sit another year. So he's been waiting. And Baylor, I can see being the BYU of the Big 12 of last year. They're just going to be sneaking, and then before you know it, they're going to be 7-1, 7-2, or something like that. And people are going to be like, "Oh crap, they're in the race." I mean, it doesn't come down to this game, but a big win. This would be a huge win for the program for Baylor, and I think being in Waco is going to make a big decision as well.
I think it does too, and I also think head coaches, like if you were to ask me who would I rather have, Dave Arnott or Hugh Freeze, I'm taking Baylor all day.
Oh yeah.
Moving on, another huge Friday Night Lights game, probably the biggest game of the weekend, fellas. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets come to Folsom Field, Boulder, Colorado, to take on Deion Sanders, the Buffs, year 3. To me, Georgia Tech is kind of like the darling of the ACC with how they finished last year. Again, they're kind of one of those teams that a lot of people like to throw in the ACC championship mix, at least appearing in the game. Bringing back Haynes King and Jamal Haynes. Or the flip side, I am the CU fan of the group, but, it kind of feels like a new era of CU football to me. We're moving on from Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, the rest of the receiving group. It's kind of the first year, too, that CU hasn't really gone heavy into the portal. Deion's talked about it, but he said, I really like the guys that we have in-house right now. So I think that speaks to what he sees in the team, considering he made 90 dudes leave 2 years ago when he first got there. They did finally just name Keaton Salter QB1, I believe either today or yesterday. Might see Juju Lewis, but what do we think, fellas? Line right now, CU +4.5, over under 52.5.
I think this game is going to come down to, I think, Jake, you and I talked off camera about it a little bit, but like if Colorado's defensive line could put pressure on Haynes King, I think it's Colorado's game to lose because we saw it time and time again last year. If you apply pressure to him, he folds. Can he overcome that? I don't know. You had a whole offseason of development. So that's the big question for Georgia Tech team. And they got a big shoe to fill with Eric Singleton Jr. leaving. So, like, who will his guy be? And he's going to have to figure that out quick because we know when you play at Folsom Field, that crowd is loud. And I do think that crowd can become a big factor in this game.
I got the Yellow Jackets. I do. But I am kind of fearful because I feel like every single night game in Colorado is just electric. And I feel like the spread never hits. And I don't know. There's just something about it. So I do have Georgia Tech winning, but I don't know. I can see it being a really, really fun and exciting game to watch.
Hey, unhealthy coach, unhealthy team. Are those correlated at all?
Clayton, you went with us when we went to the Colorado State game. That was a night game.
Yeah. Yeah, they had Lil Wayne come out, though. They're going to do that again this year?
Yeah.
They had Lil Wayne come out?
Yeah. Pretty sure The Rock did, too.
Yeah, The Rock was there.
Shut up. No, he didn't.
No.
Yeah, he did.
No, The Rock did not go out, dude.
He was the celebrity picker on game day that week. Wearing a
Did he go to Colorado University?
No tie.
No,
Why the hell was he there? What? Because his
So
that
they filmed SmackDown in Denver the night before.
Wasn't John
So
Cena
he was
there
in
too?
town and they needed somebody.
what?
I do not.
Well, no one could quit. No one could see him. So.
And the Undertaker too, apparently.
No.
Just every WWE star.
I am serious about The Rock though, but no, I mean I talked about it in the preview episode. Like when Dion first got there, if you guys remember, like they did have talent at skilled positions. They had nobody in the trenches. I think this is going to be the best season or the best roster Dion's had since he's been there as far as offensive line, tight end, defensive line, linebackers. And I think if anything, it's really going to be a step back at the skilled positions, but I think they're going to be able to replace everybody fine. I don't think that I hope I'm wrong. I don't think they're competing for a Big 12 championship this year. I think they're 7-5, 8-4 team. But I do see this as a value play. Plus 4.5 at home in Folsom Field. Like I love that line.
I just think like if Colorado can get up 14-3 early, something like that, like a score like that, I think it's their game to lose with that crowd. And then the game plan going into that game, I already said it, but like you have to be putting pressure on him, and that you're going to see it right off the rip, I think.
Yeah. Clayton, Q, you guys each took Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I'm doing spread.
Sure did.
All right, we'll move on. Saturday morning. Big noon kickoff. Battle of the heavyweights. Number 1 Texas travels to number 3 Ohio State, your reigning, defending, undisputed national champions. Little rematch of last year's Cotton Bowl.
Which some say was the national championship last year, so.
Did I talk you into the game? And if I haven't already, let me keep going. Arch Manning era has officially commenced at the University of Texas. On the flip side, Ohio State, to me, has the 2 best players in college football, Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is actually probably the greatest safety I've seen in my lifetime.
Best defensive player
yeah, he's insane.
in college football, I'd say. Keep going, Jay.
I think that for sure. So I think on Ohio State's side, it's you have the 2 best players on the field at any given time. And on the flip side, I think you could argue that Texas has the most talent on the field, composite talent overall at any given time. Clayton, I'm going to turn it over to you first. Julian saying, just named QB1. Ohio State coming off the title last year. How we feeling week 1?
Confident. I think you summed it up good that Texas, that they're just so deep and they're so talented. I will say, this is going to be a tough game for Arch. He's going to the shoe. We know we love our new kickoff games, but this is his true first start, and I know he's humble about it, and it's not on him, but it's more on the media talking about how hyped up he is. But I know he's damn good, so I'm still scared, especially when he gets outside the pocket, because that good dude is shifty. I think our defense is going to have to step up, but it's going to be on how much Ohio State can move the ball in Texas' defense. I think their offense outshines their defense for sure, but their defense is still, I think Texas' defense is top 5 this year. I'd hope it's as close as last year because that was an awesome game. I mean, it's just literally a coin flip even as an Ohio State fan. Like, I'm confident that we can definitely win, but I mean, if I'm being realistic, at the same time, it's Texas looks really good. And I mean, win or lose, you still can't lose or look too much into the game. But I mean, a huge win against the number 1 team in the nation could be a win by 1 point. I don't know. The spread's what, 2.5 Ohio State?
Yeah, so the spread's Ohio State minus 2.5, over under 47.5.
That's just because they're home. I consider it a pick 'em probably. But
yeah.
That's all I got. I mean, we got a lot of new faces, but Ohio State's always been really good at leave and replace. Just fill whatever talent group they need, and they'll get a 5-star recruit. And I mean, we won a national championship off the third-string quarterback. So, I mean, we got a lot of talent, so I'm not too concerned.
Q?
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas spread, of course. No, like, put the hatred aside, I am still going to pick Texas. I think the spread is perfect. I think it's going to be a touchdown game. So, I mean, I would take the spread either way at 6.5. I don't know. I think Texas actually has the best defensive player in the country with Colin Simmons. I think it's going to be him and Caleb Downs that kind of make the game instead of the offensive firepowers from both teams. I do think, even though Arch has only started 2 or 3 games. I think he started 2. Even though he's only started 2, Julian saying starting 0, I do think Arch is still obviously more experienced because he's actually played, but I do think he's also the more talented quarterback, and I don't think that's crazy to say. I just think Julian saying to get thrown into arguably the number 1 defense in the nation, but also the number 1 team in the nation. His first career start is, I think it's going to be a slow start, not a rough start, not like a rough game. I think it's going to be a slow start. I can see them falling behind 14-3, something like that, and it end up being a shootout. But I don't know. I just think Texas has the more complete team and experienced team at the moment. And I mean, these are probably 99% both playoff teams. So to play this early in the season, I'm going to go with the more experienced team. So I got Texas.
You picked up on it, great Q. Julian saying getting the start for Ohio State. He's young. Will he be able to make the adjustments his first year starting? On paper, you have the offense that you need, from receiving core to offensive line to running back. It comes down to how good can he play in big pressure moments. And usually you see quarterbacks like this, they get their feet wet, get a little bit of experience, and then go to like a conference game. No, he's got Arch Manning right off the rip. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited Arch Manning's going to ball out, I think. He's going to do his thing, but I'm excited to watch Emmett Mosley transfer from Stanford last year. Should be the number 2 for Texas. I think he's going to have a big year for them. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one.
I got to be honest, Clayton, I love you. I love Texas in this game.
I know.
And when the spread's 2.5 at that point, to me, you just take Texas money line. But truthfully, the way I see this game is Texas overall has more to prove than Ohio State. Steve Sarkisian wants to prove to everybody, like, it's his time. Texas is back. Like, we're taking college football by storm. It's the same thing with Arch Manning. And I think they're just going into that game hungrier. Not saying Ohio State's not. Just saying I think it's a little bit easier to kind of have that national championship hangover and, maybe not come out of the gates the way you want to week one. I also think if you look at last year's Cotton Bowl, Texas was really the only team that was able to actually shut down Jeremiah Smith. And I think that's going to be huge in this game. Specifically, when you have a quarterback who's never started a game before, losing your wide receiver one. If Texas can do that again, I love Texas in this game. I think Ohio State still makes the playoff. I just think that they maybe come out a little slow week one, and it takes them some time to get back to where they were at last year.
Yeah. I mean, Will Howard was a huge leader on last year's team. I think our O-line gets better this year with more experience coming in. But we did lose a lot on the defensive side, but it's going to be a good game. I think when you're right, it's going to be slow. I bet it's going to be like Kansas State, Iowa State, where it's going to be like 7-7 first half, and then the floodgates open. And I mean, you got two good coaching staffs on either end that are going to keep coming back after each other after the halftime. So it's going to be a good game, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. I love the noon kickoff. That's the most Ohio State thing ever to do. And whatever rumors are out there about us not allowing Dave Portnoy into the game, that's the fakest thing known to man. That's not.
But can you blame that rumor? Can you blame that
No,
people
I'm not
thought that it was
Ohio
true?
State if they wanted to do it, but everyone's like, "This soft." I'm like, probably not the first
or
the last to do that.
Well, the fact that you guys made flag planting a felony to an 18, 19-year-old, you made it a felony. That is the softest thing any university has ever done.
You should be thrown in jail for life.
Yeah.
Tackled by 10 federal agents.
I agree with Q. I don't want to harp on it too much. But I do think it's pretty soft on Ohio State's behalf. You just won the national championship, and Michigan still lives rent free in your head.
I'm not saying it's real, dude. I'm saying it's fake. I'm saying it's fake. I do not think it's real. It's fake.
It's 100% real. If I was Ohio State, it's just like, Dave, we want you on the field when we unveil the championship banner.
Go look where the first source came from. It wasn't even from Dave. It was literally one article, and everyone just ran with it. I listen to talk show radio, boys. I believe that.
A lot of misinformation out there.
Who?
But I did see Dave come out and say that he wasn't actually banned or something. I don't know. Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
It's going to come out and he's going to be at the game or something.
Yeah. We may never know the true story. But
okay.
Moving on, fellas. Afternoon slate. The Alabama Crimson Tide, year 2 with Kalen DeBoer, traveled to Tallahassee to take on Florida State. For those of you who don't know, Florida State actually got Alabama's kryptonite in the transfer portal. One Tommy Castellanos. He's been very vocal this offseason about week 1. And we all know how Florida State's, let's call it the last 21 months have been for Florida State. Really, really dating back to the college football selection show in 2023 and the downhill turn that they've taken. Mike, you and I are both really high on Alabama this year. What do you think heading into this game?
Florida State has a lot fighting for in this game. I don't know if you guys realize, but back in 2023, Florida State went undefeated and they got snubbed from the playoffs because of Bama. Possible revenge game there, but I don't think they have all 4 quarters to come out on top. So, and then how well is Ty Simpson going to be after redshirting? I think he'll do fine, and I'm excited to see a full offseason of Kalen DeBoer under his realm, because last year he lost 30 players halfway through the offseason. Now he's got a full
Not well.
So, yeah, we'll see. Florida State brought in 45 new players this offseason. They went 2-10 last year, so I could see I don't know, close game, maybe at half, Alabama up 7 points, maybe 10 points, and then just running away with it.
Q.
I kind of like the Florida State spread. If I had to lean towards one, I'd lean towards Florida State. I just think 13.5 for a new quarterback. I don't know, man. Alabama has a solid defense. I can't lie. They got a solid defense, but I don't know. I just feel like 13.5 for a new quarterback, and it's going to be tough. I mean, we all know Florida State's success and how loud that stadium gets. And we also know that it was a quarter full in every home game last year. So I think they're going to have a pretty big turnout. You know, you're playing a top 10 team. You finally got some hope. I mean, you can't go worse than 2-10. Well, you can, but in Florida State, you probably shouldn't. But I don't know. I got Florida State. I got Florida State spread. Yes, I got Florida State spread.
Pressure's on Mike Norvell in this season too.
All right. I don't know enough about Florida State that I would put any faith in them. To be honest with you,
Tommy Castellanos. That's all you need to know.
Oh, I've heard. It 100% is, but back to Tommy real quick. Like, if you lost your starting QB job at Boston College, I'm sorry, I don't think you're going to be the one to just, tear the hearts of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I just don't see it.
I can also see Florida State winning this game and then going 2-10 again.
Yeah. Clayton, who do you like?
Bama by like 17 or 20. Not close.
Yeah, that's kind of close.
Bama just runs away with it. I don't got much other than that. I just think we're putting way too much faith into Florida State after coming off that season. I mean, they haven't proven anything. So, I mean, Bama has a recruit, sure, but I think Bama wins by at least 3 scores.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to move on. We're going to start out the night slate. 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. We got the battle of the Death Valley. The LSU Tigers travel to South Carolina to take on the Clemson Tigers.
Whoa.
Brian Kelly, Garrett Nussmeier in company. A lot of hopes, a lot of expectations for this LSU team. Same situation for Clemson. Mike, Q, we all picked Clemson to win the ACC. Not even close. I think we all like them. I'm not going to say national champions, but we all like them to go far. Talked about it before. They return a lot of talent on the team, 16 out of 22 starters from last year's team. Most importantly, Cade Klubnik, senior year. On the flip side, couple things in LSU's side of things. So for those of you that don't know, Brian Kelly is 0-3 in season openers since he's been at LSU. Additionally,
that's not good.
It's not good. Additionally, a good thing for LSU. I don't know if you guys heard, but Garrett Nussmeier, previously number 13, was awarded jersey number 18 this week. Do you guys know the lore about jersey number 18 at the Louisiana State University?
No.
I don't.
So, jersey number 18 is awarded to the leader of the team. It's not, hey, we have 6 captains on the team and everybody's got the C stitched into their jersey. It is the leader of the team, the guy, the one that everybody looks to. Why is that so significant? So, if you remember, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, a couple Heisman Trophy winners. You want to go back to 2007? He was a terrible NFL quarterback with Jamarcus Russell. A lot of great college. He was a great college quarterback, and you can't deny that.
No, I know. I'm laughing at it. It's the biggest bust ever, but
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of great college quarterbacks have gone through LSU. None of them got the number 18. So that's the only other thing with that. It's kind of in honor. So the name's Matt Mock. This was, I don't know, 50 years ago. He was the quarterback of the team when they won their first national championship in like I don't know how many years. So because of that, they now give jersey number 18 to the guy of the team every year. So what am I saying? Brian Kelly might break the curse now that he's got the ultimate QB1 on his team. Let's jump into it. Clemson minus 3.5, over under 57.5. Mike, who do you like and why?
Clemson. I like them by a lot. LSU's lost 5 straight openers. There's a lot of pressure on LSU's coaching staff. You know, traits go a long ways. I think they're honestly trying to figure out who they are, and Clemson knows who they are. I believe Clemson knows that they're one of the best teams in the country and can compete with anybody. And I mean, going into that game as a player for LSU, I can only imagine like, hey man, we've lost 5 straight. We need to get something here, and that's just going to be in the back of your mind the whole time. So, yeah, I'll take Clemson. Easily covering the spread here.
Q.
I got the same thing. I got Clemson going undefeated, and you know it's really hard to do that if you don't win week 1. Yeah. I mean, well, I think at South Carolina is going to be tougher than this game, just because you know the curse is in full effect currently for LSU, like Jake said. So I don't think this game is going to be as tough. We know how slow LSU starts, and it's at home. You know, I think at South Carolina will be a bit tougher. But, gosh, man, I can't stand Brian Kelly. I can't stand the man. I don't think he picks this win up. I don't think he comes close to it. I think they'll get blown out of the water by the first half, and I think it'll end up being a close game towards the second half a little bit, like 14-ish, but yeah, I got Clemson by a lot. This is the most experienced and well-sounded Clemson team since the Trevor Lawrence era. I'm going to say that right now. I mean, this Clemson team is insane. I think they will look unstoppable. I got Clemson covering the spread easily.
And I think a win here goes a long ways for like the playoff committee. So, yeah, I think Dabo will have that team ready.
Clemson, close, but Clemson. I mean, 10-point game, but experience wins every time. I think it'll still be a close game. I don't think it's going to be just a complete ass whooping, but it'll be a fun game to watch for sure. Clemson, though.
It's a clean sweep for the crew. I got Clemson as well. I'm actually just most looking forward to hoping that ESPN gives us like 15-minute coverage of Clemson pregame riding the bus and then going down the hill and touching the rock. It is one of the most electric entrances in college football. Moving on. I love this one, fellas. I'm not going to lie. We have a Pac-12 opening game. Little Pac after dark, if you will. Some people thought it died a couple years ago. It's back temporarily. When the Utah Utes travel to take on UCLA. Big story here. Quentin, you and I, again, in our preseason conference predictions, we're high on Utah. We love Utah this year. We have them winning the Big 12. Storyline on the other side would be Nico Yame-Ilaba transferring to UCLA. Don't know that I'm too high on UCLA outside of him. But what do we think, fellas? We got Utah minus 6.5 as the spread. Over under 52.5. Game is at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California.
I'll go first because I don't have a whole lot, and then I can let you guys go. I'm just curious to know how Nico will look in this game. It's truthfully all I have on this one.
Yeah.
I think Utah will easily win. I'm just curious to see how he'll do.
You know, when I was first looking through Utah and I read up about them, I fell in love with them. And then I started looking at their schedule. And this was originally one of the games I had them losing. And then I read up about UCLA, and I'm like, you know, I don't know a single player outside of Nico. So I kind of went back to picking Utah to win this game. I don't think UCLA has filled their stadium more than 65% in the last 5 years. So I don't think the stadium will come into play. You know, it's a road game, obviously, but I got Utah being the better team here in this game. I think they'll see a defensive regression this year just with the guys they lost, but I think Devin Dampier can even that out. So I don't know if I have Utah covering the spread. By that matter, I'd have to probably take UCLA covering, but I do have Utah winning.
Yeah, I'm taking the Utes. Yeah, I don't have much on the game, just the Utes. UCLA is going to finish in the bottom of the Big Ten this year, and Utah is going to be possibly up there. But, yeah, give me the Utes.
So I don't have too much on this game. I really just want to talk about Utah this season. For any listeners out there, you're going to want to watch Utah Ute football. This is going to be old school smash mouth football. Their offensive line has over 100 combined starts, which is just unheard of in college football, let alone unheard of in today's college football. With that, both of their tackles, I believe, are going to be first-round picks in next year's draft. Devin Dampier in the transfer portal, I think, is going to be so fun to watch. Utah is going to rely heavy on the running game. Defense is always good under Kyle Whittingham. I love Utah. I think the spread in this one's tricky. I just think I have so many question marks about UCLA. I feel like it's about right. You know, if it was 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, I'd easily say Utah. I still lean Utah, but it's something I'm not going to bet. But love Utah in this game and overall the rest of the season. Finally, Sunday evening, we have Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, travel to Miami to take on the Miami Hurricanes, a.k.a. Catholics versus convicts. Got the 2024 national runner-up. Notre Dame, you know, return a lot of pieces to their team. Obviously, I think the big one they have to replace would be Riley Leonard, QB1. Outside of that, I mean, I love Notre Dame's team. You know, we all know Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, RB2. A lot of defense coming back. Flip side, Miami and Mario Cristobal, you know, trying to replace Cam Ward. They did get loved by the podcast. One Carson Beck in the transfer portal. A lot of talent to replace at receiver by Miami. But you know, it's two teams that fully expect to be in the playoff at the end of the year, facing off week one. Notre Dame currently at -2.5, over under 49.5. What do we like, fellas?
I think Jeremiah Love is the best running back in the nation by far. Let me tell you something. A page is being turned. I think Carson Beck is going to excel in this Miami offense. I think he is going to be phenomenal for Miami. And I'm being serious. This is coming from a dude that couldn't stand the sight of him playing college football in general. I told him to retire last year. I think I'm going to love him this year. I think I'm going to love him. I think he's going to be amazing for Miami. Notre Dame hasn't won in Hard Rock Stadium in the past 8 trips. I got Miami winning this game, and I got Carson Beck being a Heisman finalist.
What?
Yep, dude, I said it.
He goes from a run heavy offense in Georgia and would still throw 4 picks a game, and now he's going to an air raid offense where he's going to throw 8 picks a game. How do you just flip a switch on a guy like that?
Listen,
I am.
I can't sit here and tell you why I changed my opinion. Okay, I can't. I'm not gonna do that because I can't do that. I don't know why. I just know that he's gonna be way. I don't think Georgia was the right fit. I think
I want you to.
He was.
I want
I think
the same. I want the same energy when he loses the game for Miami. I want the same exact energy.
I think my energy's not gonna change because it's week 1. They don't play 1 week of college football. I think he was too immature to play for Kirby Smart, and I don't think that's wrong to say. But I'm not saying he's still immature, but I think Mario Cristobal suits him better than Kirby Smart, if that makes sense. Like
it doesn't, but it doesn't. But whatever.
You think a guy that tied the NCAA? Oh, yeah, he led the league, but tied it NCAA last year with interceptions, with 13, and you think he's going to be Heisman this year? I'm
saying just a finalist. Dalen Gabriel was a finalist last year. He didn't have a shot to win.
Guys in the nation. That's the top 4 best players in the nation.
But there's at least one person that makes it every single year that does not have a shot to win it, and that's going to be Carson Beck this year. I'm just saying that he's going to excel in that offense, and he's playing in the weakest conference. He's playing in the weakest conference in the nation. It's the perfect fit for him. He's going from the hardest to the easiest.
Does it scare you a little that he had surgery in the spring?
Not even a little bit.
I'm just going to say I think I was the only one last year that didn't completely hate Carson Beck. But no, I really do agree with Q. Like I think Carson Beck truthfully might have been, a little bit in his own head last year. I also think maybe the expectations were a little bit too much for him. So I think this is going to be a great fit for Carson Beck. I'm not saying that he's going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist, but I think he's going to be a very fine quarterback.
I do think
right now. So I mean, if we're talking QB to QB, Notre Dame just named freshman CJ Carr QB1.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Where I would, if we're just going, sometimes if I don't know who I want to bet on, I just think, what quarterback do I trust more? I trust Carson Beck way more than I trust CJ Carr.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, just because he's on a different team doesn't necessarily make him a Heisman finalist, Quentin.
Look at Cam Ward. Transferred from Washington State. No buzz about him. Transferred to Miami. Heisman talks the entire year.
Okay, but Carson Beck had every talent group checked off. He had one of the best O-lines. He had running backs behind him. He was surrounded by wide receivers, and he still couldn't make plays.
So he was not surrounded by wide receivers. That's where you're wrong.
No, Georgia led the league in drops last year, and whenever anybody wants to trash Carson Beck, nobody talks about the fact that, Clayton, you're right, they should, in theory, have the best talent around them. They led the nation in drops last year, so, was Carson Beck great? No. Did his receivers help him out? No.
Yeah.
I still think, though,
before last year, he was projected to be a first-round draft pick.
And he did the smart choice that Quinn Ewers never did, and he came back to play football. He's maturing already. The more I talk about him, the more I like him.
Back to the game, though, I think, Jake, you said it, but, or Quentin, one of you guys said it. CJ Carr is a true freshman starting on a team that made it to the championship last year. The big shoes to fill. I think it's important for Notre Dame to establish the run game early. I believe there's rain in the forecast. So, hey, if you can't get it going, you could rely on Jeremiah Love. But, yeah, I'm taking experience over this. I'm going to take Miami.
Whoa.
Let's go, baby.
I'm taking Notre Dame money line. I think the ability to run the ball and slow the game down, and if Carson Beck does have a good game, be able to put the ball out of Carson Beck's hands and also not have to rely on the freshman to make plays for you. If Notre Dame gets behind early, that's where I think Miami can win, but I still think Notre Dame's ability to run the ball is going to outshine Miami's offense.
I think if you put any type of pressure on this true freshman quarterback right off the get-go in this game,
I just think that Marcus Freeman he's going to know what he has and what he doesn't have Leonard back there anymore to just kind of rely on, and that was his scapegoat last year. But I think keeping the ball out of his hands, getting early in sticks, like a 3rd and 3, then you have both options available. But if they get behind in the sticks and you have to start relying on a freshman, that never worked for anyone.
I think Marcus Freeman knows his team better than Mario Cristobal does. I think Everything I just said about Carson Beck and Miami, I believe is true. I do lean Notre Dame in this one, though, because like last year's offense was the blueprint, right? Like if we know CJ Carr is a true freshman, run the ball. You have Jeremiah Love, who's a Heisman hopeful. You have Jadarian Price, who's running back too, who I think could probably start for 100 teams in college football if he wasn't behind Jeremiah Love. As long as Marcus Freeman's there, I'm always going to be confident that Notre Dame's going to have a great offensive line. They actually bring back, multiple receivers from last year's team. So, like, CJ Carr makes me nervous, make me feel a lot better if Notre Dame was at home in this one, but I still lean Notre Dame because I think they know their identity more than Miami does. Other notable games around the country this weekend would be Nebraska and Cincinnati Thursday night at Arrowhead Stadium. Earlier in the day, this is a kind of early afternoon game, but Boise State kicks off at South Florida Thursday afternoon. Saturday, Syracuse at Tennessee in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We have another Pac-12 matchup, old Pac-12 matchup, that is. Cal at Oregon State. On Sunday, we have Virginia Tech at South Carolina, once again at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then Monday night to wrap off the big week 1 of college football, the TCU Horned Frogs travel to Chapel Hill to take on the new look Bill Belichick-led North Carolina Tar Heels.
To kind of touch on the Heisman odds after talking about Carson Beck being a Heisman finalist, I just kind of want to read through the top 10 and then we can kind of take our picks. So, number 1, Arch Manning. Number 2, Garrett Nussmeier. 3, Cade Klubnik. 4, Jeremiah Smith. 5, Drew Aller. 6, Carson Beck. 7, Sam Levitt. 8, Lenora Sellers. 9, DJ Lagway. And 10, Ty Simpson. So for me, I feel like it's very difficult to win the Heisman as a quarterback if you're not dual threat in today's game. I do like that we've been having more skill positions win it, and it's not just a quarterback award, with Devontae Smith and Ashton Genty winning it. But I don't know. Or Travis Hunter, yeah. Not Ashton Genty, sorry. Travis Hunter.
I know. We all knew that he should have won.
I'm just saying who should have won it. Sorry, that's my fault. But
easy, fellas.
Okay. But I just feel like it's super difficult to win it if you're not a dual threat quarterback. So I am picking Cade Klubnik to win the 2025 Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in a couple episodes. I think it was our first episode when we went over any future bets, and I have a future Heisman bet on Cade Klubnik and Lenore Sellers, and then DJ Lagway. If I had to pick one, it'd be Cade Klubnik for the reason that you just said, Q. And I think, like, a quarterback as good as he is, and I truly believe that they will go undefeated, maybe lose one game. I think that says it for itself right there.
I have running back 1, Iowa State, Carson Hansen. Just kidding. I talked myself in about 15, 20 minutes ago into Garrett Nussmeier. Jersey number 18 was all I needed to talk myself into why he's winning the Heisman.
Yeah, big game. Big game week 1.
Clayton, do you have a Heisman pick?
Not really. I do like Nussmeier. But with the skill position players that have been winning it, I mean, if Jeremiah Love starts off where he left off, that's going to be tough to beat,
Whoa, I thought you were going to say the other Jeremiah.
Run heavy, he's going to have like 300 attempts this year. And if he's able to turn that into 1,800 yards with like 2,400 all-purpose or something like that and break a record, I can see him getting it. They're just so run heavy and reliant on the run that he's going to get his games, but hey, we'll see.
So I do want to move in. We did in a previous episode talk about futures, but I have a couple futures I've since thrown out there. Don't know if you guys do. Figured now would be the time to share them with the group. So starting out, this is a Week 0/Week 1 parlay. But it started out with Iowa State money line, which is already hit. And then moving into week 1 games, Baylor money line, Colorado money line, Texas money line, Oklahoma to cover minus 35.5, Clemson money line, Utah money line, Washington minus 20.5. I don't know if I've ever loved
you're just going
leg
all in on all of them, huh, Jake?
I do not think I've ever loved an 8-leg parlay as much as I love this one. I'll tell you that right now, fellas. $5 to win $1,400. Hashtag investing.
Jesus.
Is it a free bet or will you get a cash out option?
Oh, I'll get a cash out. Just a little 5-piece. And then I did do this one's like a true future parlay. That one's just like a week 0, week 1. But so Clemson, ACC Conference Championship game winner. Utah, Big 12 Conference Championship game winner. Washington over 7.5 wins. Utah over 7.5 wins. Oklahoma State over 4.5 wins, because I love Mike Gundy when things are looking bad. And Colorado over 5.5 wins.
Damn.
Placing it right now. I'm jumping in on that Colorado one.
You like that? 5.5 is
5.5.
Yeah, I've said before, like I think they're a 7-win team, maybe 8.
Q, go ahead. I'm gonna jump in on this one.
Do you have any Q?
No. Sorry, I already shared mine in the future episode we did. I don't have any more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just jumped in on that. I also jumped in on your 4.5 Oklahoma State earlier in the week, and then I still have a Kansas Big 12 champion that I love a lot right now, and then Clemson to win the national championship.
Okay. All right, fellas. We're back. Week 1 cards are here. I'm going to start out with mine. So here we go. Starting out Friday night. I got 2 Friday night picks. I like Auburn Baylor under 57.5. To me, that kind of feels like just one of those gritty 21-17 type games. Love the under there. Next, I got CU plus 4.5. I just think that game being in Folsom Field and me not being nearly as high on Georgia Tech as everybody else. Not because I'm a Colorado homer, but because I just don't think Georgia Tech's the team that everybody wants to tell me they are. Love Colorado plus 4.5 at home. After that, I love Washington minus 20.5 at home against Colorado State. Sorry to the Rammies out there. It's nothing personal, just a gambler. After that, we got Tulane minus 5.5 against Northwestern. Mike, you and I both have Tulane as our group of 5 team this year. I love Tulane. And then Oklahoma minus 36.5. I do not fear big spreads in week 1, week 2, week 3 in the non-conference. I embrace them. I welcome them. Oklahoma minus 36.5 over Illinois State. Gotta figure things out before the season gets too far this year, so they're running up that score.
My card for week 1, I'll do mine before you go, Q. I have Clemson minus 3.5 at home against LSU. Like I said earlier in the episode, LSU's lost 5 straight openers. I believe that Clemson is the best team in the country. I think it's a prove it game for Clemson as well, for the playoff committee, just to show that they are that dominant from what the hype is around them. And then my second game, I'm going to take Miami plus 2.5 at Miami. Carson Beck is an experienced quarterback going up against a true freshman quarterback in CJ Carr. I think the pressure will be too much for CJ Carr this early in this season. So give me Miami plus 2.5. My next game, I'll go Colorado plus 4.5 at home. We picked up on it an episode ago, Jake, but I don't believe that Colorado is going to take as many steps back as what we think. I think the crowd will be a big factor in this game, like I said earlier. And I do believe this will be a trenches game. I believe Colorado will come into this game with a game plan to stop the run and to make Haynes King throw the ball and I think that will lead to a Buffs victory. And then my last game, I'm going to take Indiana against Old Dominion. I'm going to take the over 54.5 in that game. They didn't let up off the brakes last year in blowout games. I don't think they're going to do it again this year. Kurt Signetti loves to run the score up, and I truly believe that Indiana can cover this by themselves. So, yeah, that's my card.
I'm not shying away from big games here in my card. I got starting off hot Texas plus 2.5. I already explained why I like them earlier, so I'll just leave it at that. Then I have Clemson minus 3.5. Once again, I explained why I like them previously. And then my third game, I also have Indiana minus 23.5. I do agree with Mike. I think they win this by about 35. So, and then my last game, probably my least favorite pick on my card, I have Iowa State minus 14.5. I think they could potentially have a hangover win, and they had a long flight back from Dublin, but I just feel like they always start out slow. I was at their home opener last year against North Dakota. They beat them by 18. So a team that they would win by 42 in the middle of the season. So, they're kind of notorious for starting the season slow, but with this big of a win, I don't know. I just kind of like them a little bit more. I don't think they'll have a hangover win because Iowa State really hasn't been put in too many positions to do so. So I don't think that they will really know what that is supposed to entail. So I see them carrying their momentum into covering that.
I can see that.
Lock of the week parlay, fellas. It's the big one. Mike, can you remind us where things finished off last year with the Keyshawn Booty Award?
I believe I won it. Q, I think you took second. Clayton third. Jake fourth. You started out hot, Jake, and then just
didn't you lose like your last 7?
I was dead last. That is correct. I rode the struggle bus. That being said, gentlemen, it's a new year.
It is.
We're picking up where we, not going to say left off last year, but we're picking up on what was successful last year. Like I said earlier, I do not fear big spreads in weeks 1, 2, 3 when Power 4 teams are playing, group of 5 FCS teams. There's one man that I trust to just absolutely obliterate an inferior opponent. It's Lane Kiffin. It's Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss minus 35.5 over Georgia State.
I got Texas A&M minus 24 against UTSA. I don't know diddly about UTSA, but I do know that Texas A&M is going to run the SEC this year. I do have them winning that conference, so they're going to be good though. I mean, they're going to have probably the best ground game in the nation. I don't think UTSA can stop either AB of Marcel Reed and Kevin Concepcion or whatever his last name is as the receiver. Their secondary is going to be solid. 25 or 24.5 as a spread. I got them pitching a shutout and scoring 40. So that's my lock.
Clayton?
I got the Wildcats from Kansas State minus 25.5. I think they're just...
Great pick. I love that pick.
I like it.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, none of us know. That's why we're betting, If we knew, we'd just throw our money away.
I was thinking about that pick.
It's a good pick. They're hungry, dude. They want to get a win and they want to show that. I mean, obviously last week was a tough loss, but I think they're a little pissed about it and they're going to come out swinging. So
just like Avery Johnson's dad and brother.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I am going to take Tulane minus 5.5 against Northwestern at home. Northwestern was 4-8 last year, 2-7 in the Big Ten. They had the 57th return production with 58%, and they fired their head coach. So that that program is just going downhill. Tulane, they're going in the right direction. They went and got BYU's quarterback from last year, Jake Retzlaff. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the number 2 defense in the American last year. Loaded. They didn't lose much production. Their home record over the past 3 seasons is 19-5. Have them making the playoffs as the group of 5 team. So yeah, I love Tulane here -5.5.
I love it too.
Anything else, boys?
Not really, just big old OH, brother.
College football's back. Week 1 is here. A lot of good games. Rock chalk.
Finally here, fellas. The dry months are over. We're back. Been thinking about this day since January 22nd, the day after the national championship. I don't actually know if that was the date of the national championship.
It sounds about right.
Been thinking about it since the second the Ohio State Notre Dame game ended. Let's go, Buff.